A drone designed by a country that isn't even a major military power has become the most sought-after weapon on Earth. It has been used in 6 wars on 4 continents. How did a propeller plane from Turkey become the most feared drone on Earth? 12 meters from tip to tip, the Bayraktar TB2 stands out for its size, simplicity, and price. With a wingspan matching a small commuter plane, the TB2's airframe is built from lightweight carbon fiber composites and aluminum, giving it a maximum takeoff weight of just 700 kilograms. A single 105 horsepower gasoline engine, paired with a 2-blade pusher propeller, drives the aircraft at a steady cruise of about 220 kilometers per hour. This configuration is not about speed or stealth, but about persistence. The TB2 can remain airborne for up to 27 hours on a single tank of fuel, loitering at altitudes as high as 25,000 feet. Operators control the drone from a mobile ground station, which houses workstations for the pilot, payload operator, and mission commander. The aircraft relies on a line-of-sight data link with a range under 300 kilometers, with triple redundant autopilot and sensor fusion systems for backup. Even if it loses GPS or communications, the TB2 can follow a pre-programmed route and land itself autonomously. Under its slender wings, the TB2 carries up to 4 laser-guided munitions, typically MAML or MAMC smart bombs, each weighing about 22 kilograms and capable of striking targets up to 14 kilometers away. The total payload tops out at 150 kilograms, including a stabilized electro-optical and infrared camera for surveillance and targeting. The system price for a full TB2 package, drone, ground control, and support hovers around $5 million, a fraction of the cost of Western or Chinese alternatives. The result is a drone that trades raw performance for operational endurance, affordability, and ease of use, making it accessible to militaries that could never dream of fielding Reapers or Herons. Selçuk Bayraktar stands at the center of Turkey's drone revolution. Born into a family of engineers, he left Istanbul to study at MIT, earning a master's degree in robotics before returning home with a vision to make Turkey self-reliant in unmanned flight. In the early 2000s, Bayraktar joined his father's small manufacturing firm, Baykar, just as Turkey faced embargoes on Western drone technology. American refusals to supply armed unmanned aerial vehicles, especially after tensions over Turkish operations against Kurdish groups, forced the country to look inward. Selçuk championed a domestic research push, leading Baykar's shift from building mini unmanned aerial vehicles in 2004 to developing the first TB2 prototype, which took flight in 2014. Baykar's growth was rapid but intensely personal. Unlike the sprawling defense contractors of the West, Baykar remained family-owned and tightly controlled, with Selçuk as chief engineer and his brother Haluk as CEO. The company's independence became a point of pride, echoed in national rhetoric about technological sovereignty. Selçuk's marriage to President Erdogan's daughter added another layer: political access and state backing at the highest level. This alliance helped Baykar secure government contracts and funding, but also placed the TB2 at the heart of Turkey's national ambitions. By the mid-2010s, Baykar's drones were logging thousands of flight hours in Turkish service, striking PKK targets in the southeast and along the Syrian border. The TB2's success was not just technical, it was symbolic. Each export deal, from Ukraine to Qatar, reinforced the idea that Turkey could compete with and even outpace established powers in military technology. Selçuk Bayraktar's blend of engineering skill, political savvy, and patriotic branding transformed Baykar from a small family firm into the world's leading exporter of affordable armed drones. In the spring of 2020, the world's attention turned to Libya, where a series of short, grainy videos rewrote the rules of modern air warfare. Turkish-supplied Bayraktar TB2 drones, each with a price tag near $5 million for a full system, began systematically hunting Russian-made Panzer S-1 air defense vehicles. The Panzer, valued at over $15 million per unit, was designed to protect critical sites from exactly this kind of threat. Yet footage showed TB2s calmly circling above, laser-guided bombs homing in on the exposed radars and missile launchers below. By the end of the campaign, more than 20 Panzers had been destroyed or captured, a loss of over $300 million in hardware for the Russian-backed forces. The cost comparison was stark. For the price of a single Panzer, the Libyan government could have fielded a small fleet of TB2s with munitions to spare. This economic asymmetry sent shockwaves through military circles. For the first time, a low-cost, propeller-driven drone was not just surviving, but dominating on a battlefield crowded with supposedly superior air defenses. The viral strike videos became instant case studies in defense ministries worldwide, prompting urgent reviews of procurement priorities and air defense doctrines. The TB2's performance in Libya proved that affordable, precision-guided drones could upend the established balance of power, not through technological wizardry, but by making high-end assets vulnerable to mass-produced, accessible systems. The 44-day war over Nagorno-Karabakh in the autumn of 2020 revealed the full disruptive power of the Bayraktar TB2. Azerbaijan deployed more than 20 TB2s to maintain constant surveillance over Armenian positions, streaming live video back to command centers day and night. This persistent presence allowed operators to spot, track, and target enemy armor, artillery, and air defense systems in real time. Each morning, new strike footage appeared online, columns of tanks destroyed, Osa and Buk missile batteries erupting in fire, and convoys scattered on mountain roads. Over 6 weeks, Azerbaijan reclaimed roughly 20% of the disputed territory, a reversal not seen since the Soviet breakup. By the end of the campaign, open-source analysts counted over 100 Armenian armored vehicles and dozens of air defense sites destroyed, with most kills confirmed by TB2 video. The drone's ability to loiter undetected, relay coordinates, and strike repeatedly forced Armenian units to abandon fixed positions and move undercover, eroding their defense line. In the eyes of military planners worldwide, the TB2's daily footage became a running ledger of attrition, transforming the battlefield into a transparent, data-driven contest where the side with more drones and better targeting cycles gained the upper hand. In Ukraine, the Bayraktar TB2 became more than a weapon. It turned into a symbol. Early in the war, footage of TB2s striking Russian convoys and artillery was shared across social media, each clip stamped with the drone's distinct silhouette and the grainy, black-and-white certainty of a direct hit. These videos didn't just shape public opinion, they fueled a sense of resistance. Within weeks, a folk song celebrating the Bayraktar shot to the top of the Ukrainian charts, its chorus echoing in city squares and army checkpoints alike. The melody, paired with viral strike footage, gave the drone an almost mythic status, inspiring memes, cartoons, and even children's toys. This wave of imagery and music rippled far beyond the front lines. In Western capitals, policymakers and defense donors watched the TB2's exploits circulate online, fueling debates about the urgency of military aid. The timeline for delivering advanced weapons to Ukraine compressed, as public pressure mounted and the drone's success stories challenged old assumptions about what mattered on the battlefield. Even as analysts cautioned that the TB2 was no silver bullet, its soft power was undeniable. The cultural surge around the drone blurred the line between battlefield reality and national myth, accelerating decisions in boardrooms and parliaments thousands of kilometers away. Doppler radar systems, especially those designed in the Soviet era, rely on filtering out slow-moving objects to avoid clutter from birds and weather. Many of these legacy radars are programmed to ignore targets flying below about 100 knots, roughly 185 kilometers per hour. The Bayraktar TB2, cruising steadily at around 70 knots, often slips beneath this threshold. To a Panzer or Buk operator, the drone's slow, steady approach can look like background noise, not a threat. This technical blind spot means the TB2 can loiter at medium altitude, gathering intelligence or striking targets while remaining invisible to radars tuned for fast jets and missiles. As militaries around the world studied the aftermath of Libya and Nagorno-Karabakh, it became clear that the TB2's low speed was not a weakness, but a deliberate exploit of an overlooked vulnerability. Defense buyers rushed to acquire these drones before adversaries could update their radar doctrines and close the gap. Orders for the Bayraktar TB2 surged as its battlefield reputation spread. Poland became the first NATO country to sign a contract, followed by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Croatia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan. Each deal included not just drones, but full-service packages, training programs, maintenance support, and integration with local forces. The TB2's appeal lay in its low entry cost and rapid delivery, and in the ability for smaller militaries to field a credible air power capability. Baykar used export revenues to accelerate new projects. In 2023, the company unveiled the TB3 at Technofest, a next-generation drone designed for shipboard operations, featuring folding wings and satellite communications. This roadmap signaled Baykar's intent to expand from land-based systems to maritime and beyond, reinvesting profits from the TB2's global sales into more advanced, versatile platforms. Integrated air defense networks and electronic warfare systems have begun to blunt the TB2's edge. Modern militaries now deploy layered interceptors, from radar-guided missiles to mobile gun systems, creating overlapping zones of denial that catch slow, medium-altitude drones within their reach. Directional jamming disrupts the TB2's line-of-sight data link, severing control and forcing operators to rely on pre-programmed routes or risk losing the aircraft entirely. As these countermeasures spread, operators in high-threat environments have shifted the TB2's role from strike missions to intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. In Ukraine and Syria, for example, the frequency of successful TB2 strikes has dropped sharply as Russian and Syrian forces adapt with electronic warfare and dispersed air defenses. The TB2's affordability and simplicity remain its strengths, but its survivability now depends on the sophistication of the opposition. The contest has moved from one-sided dominance to a dynamic arms race, with each adaptation prompting new countermeasures on both sides. Right now, more than 30 militaries are recalibrating strategy around a drone built for a fraction of Western costs. The TB2's global ripple effect is clear. Precision air power is no longer reserved for superpowers. As drone warfare democratizes, every conflict zone becomes a laboratory for the next revolution. Subscribe to Tomorrow's Warfronts for more breakdowns. Until next time, share your thoughts below.